The Nikon D700 translates color like no other. When paired with the 50mm and its natural look, they truly make some masterpieces, and I love this so much. Using this combo for over a year, I've thrown a few different tests at it, having portraits, landscapes, and whatever else in between. And even with all of this praise, there is still an area of opportunity for the 50mm. In this video, I'll be giving you the highs and lows of the D700 with the 50mm combo. And at the end, I'll also be sharing the next lens that I'm thinking about. Hopefully it's not a mistake. But before we jump into the quality of image and photos, it's always about the price. So where are we standing at? If you want the exact kit that I have a 50mm 1.8G, and that will set you back at this time frame about $150. And for the body, I feel like we talk about this every other video, $300 for the D700, giving you that grand total of $450. Now, when talking about the quality of lenses, I honestly can't find one that is horrible from Nikon. So you'll never have to worry about the weight and physical quality of the lens, the snappy autofocus, or if the synergy between your camera and lens is good enough. And of course, these three factors always go into the fact of making a great photo. And you already know how I feel about the D700 body, so let's skip over that. Going into the highs of this combo, let's start off with the viewfinder. The optical viewfinder gives me a real-time perspective of what I'm taking a photo of. And this allows me to put together my compositions a little bit more strategically and also feel more connected to what I'm actually seeing. When it comes to the raw images and even the physical screen that I'm looking at, when I take a photo with the D700, I can be very confident that what I'm looking at is an accurate representation once I hop onto the computer. This allows me to use my presets and have a foundation already laid out with small tinkering to make the image perfect, whether that's cropping or changing the magenta versus green or anything of that nature. It's a very simple, minimal editing process that I really do enjoy. And when I go out shooting, because of the external buttons on the outside of the camera, I am never in a menu. Once I set it up ages ago, I've never hopped back in since. And when paired with the 50mm that is so championed for its natural look, similar to the eye, I think that it's almost a part of my style now. I really enjoy the fact that it's not a telephoto lens, so it's not fully isolating your subjects, but it still gives you some context so that you can fill in the viewer on what you're taking a photo of or what you are interested in. Let's go over my photos at Longwood Gardens. When taking these photos, I genuinely wanted to find things that had strong contrast. The flowers against the green, or a pink house that I randomly came across, even though it was very, very light, the contrast of it being so deeply put behind the trees and the green of the grass, it interested me. Even when it comes to the 600 tulips, I try to have it obviously be a focal point, but sometimes I don't want to lean directly into the main subject. I want to see if there's some type of secondary element that I could highlight so that it feels as if it's a part of the conversation rather than just being the main speaker. And as I went inside the greenhouse, I found even more compositional elements that I enjoyed. So more lines, more metal, more this, more that, that would accent everything else a little bit differently. And going back to that story element that I was speaking to before, once I came to the cart for the orchids, I saw it in the corner. I saw the contrast of the metal cart with the one flower and then tons of flowers behind it. There was a few windows to the left and the right that made it a little bit more difficult. And I knew immediately once I walked up on this composition that I wanted to take a few different photos. So of course I had the close-ups of the packets themselves, then the flower, then backing up, getting all of the wall. I even wanted to get one more, but me backing up even further put it in a doorway, which was great for framing, but there was even less chance of getting that ghostly or clean image with no people in it because it just started taking up so much space. Moving to Cape May in the bottom of Jersey a week later, I was caught by a pink house. I wanted to focus on the birdhouse a little bit more here. So that's why I put it directly smack dab in the middle. And then of course, I don't know if it's the camera or just lighting situations, but windows are so beautiful at times and the way that they reflect or look so milky and all that. So I'm happy the way those panes look in the back right behind it. And then once again with the tree coming down, as I've spoken to before about compositions where I like to have something swoop in over the top or come in at the bottom just to break everything up. I think that with this picture as well as the one from Longwood Gardens, it's a little bit more difficult because the tree branches aren't as thick or contrasty, but I think it's still clear enough, at least for the birdhouse picture, that it has some type of breakup. Then as I kept walking, I got closer and closer to the beach. And I, after walking for quite some time, found a yellow and blue contrast for what might have been an ice cream shop right next to the beach. It being out of season, I guess that's why it's completely closed, but there wasn't anyone on the beach anyway, so. But just the contrast of the yellow and the blue and the airy sky being even lighter pushes those contrasts out, and I just felt, why not take a picture? And then my most favorite image out of all of them, even though I couldn't get a perfect or a certain idea out of this, the pancake house, all those blues are so beautiful to me. I mean, blue is my favorite color, but the baby blue, the royal blue, the blue flowers, and then the only warm color coming from the sign for exactly what it's supposed to be, pancake house and family restaurant. I say the one thing that I do wish I did with this is, you see those awnings, the white and blue. I could have stepped up there and took a photo up into them with the light peering through, but I just felt like, hey man, they're closed. I'm not in my area, I'm not with someone, so I said, let me not do that. And even with these fun photos, I can say that this has its downside when it comes to the 50mm. A lot of times it feels like your back is just up against a wall. You never have enough space, and this is the only low light that I can say from this combo. But in a way, it's also a challenge that allows you to think a little bit differently. Because if I could just walk up to anything and take the first picture on the top of my mind, that doesn't mean that I fully figured out how I can maximize the image that I want to grab. But I say all that to say, I think I'm going to switch to 35mm, guys. I'm getting a little bored overall, but it's a great camera. It's a great lens, so you might want to invest in it.